Along with the development China rural economy, the pig industry has been emerged to modern large-scale farms from traditional small-scale backyard farms. In responding to the challenges such as disease prevention and control, environmental pollution and resources shortage that the pig producers encounter in their farming operation, Yu's design worked out a solution which integrates industrial wisdom with pig farming practice. Yu's multi-story building barn demonstrates outstanding advantages in biosafety control, environmental protection, and cost saving, so as to achieve a harmonious coexistence of living environment for human being and pig-producing ecological environment. It also contributes to make the pig industry emerge positively to the whole large agriculture, as well as further to the social and economic development of the virtuous cycle. Strengthening biosafety control and making the pig raising simple. Biosafety control is one of the most important things to be considered in pig barn design. Its emphasis on protection from outside virus invasion, on internal control to avoid the spreading of disease to outside, and finally on precisely eliminating diseases. The Yu's design version 5.1 barn building contains 5 layers of protection from the outside to the inside, and the safety intensity is improved step by step to effectively cut off the external pathogen transmission route. At the Yu's barn building, each floor was designed to be isolated from other floor areas. It helps reducing the risk of cross-contamination from people, vehicles, supplies, pigs, and sewage inside the barn. In addition, with the advantage of 3-dimensional transportation pipeline, the barn can quickly carry out immediate harmless removal of potential pathogens, dead pigs, feces, stench, prevent the spread of diseases through the air, mosquitoes, and flies, and improve the level of biological safety of the whole field. Favor to the environmental protection and improve the surrounding environment. Protecting the environment can ensure the sustainable development of the pig industry. The Yu's design version 5.1 building barn can eliminate water waste from the original source so as to help reduce the total amount of sewage. Dry manure cleaning process enables on-site manure to achieve instant solid-liquid separation, reduces the concentration of sewage, greatly reduces the pressure of wastewater treatment in the later stage, and further realizes zero discharge through resource utilization. Its unique air tower structure, with spray deodorization equipment, external exhaust gas centralized treatment, instant disinfection deodorization, effectively improves the surrounding air environment. In addition, all doors, windows, and air inlets connected with the outside world should be installed with mosquito and fly prevention nets to effectively prevent outside mosquitoes and flies from entering. Significantly reduce costs and improve benefits. Cost control is directly related to the maximization of pig farming companies' benefits. The Yu's design version 5.1 building barn centralizes different functional areas and pipelines into one building. It maximizes the reduction of pig farm floor area and field shared area, reduce fixed investment costs. Secondly, the effective combination of architecture and technology through natural lighting and heat exchange ventilation mode can not only achieve constant temperature in the barn, but also greatly reduces the overall energy consumption and operating costs. Customized layout design. Achieve more alternative options. Apart from the 3 advantages in biosafety, environmental protection, and cost control, the Yu's design version 5.1 building barn also provides different design composition, including single building block, double building block, 3 building block, 4 building block, 6 building block, and other layout design. It can respond to adapt to different regions, geology, and climate, and can fully meet the needs of customers with different breeding patterns and scales. At present, this kind of building barn is adopted by Tianzhou, Wenz, Lihua, and other well-known domestic pig companies. More than 100 Yu's design building barn projects are under construction. At present, China's pig industry is in a critical period of industrial transformation. From a professional point of view, we are committed to providing the most solid barn design support for China's pig industry. In the future, we will continue to innovate and design technology-driven pig barns that are more in line with the development of the trend and the needs of pig farming, so as to help China grow from a big farming country to a strong pig farming country.
Hello, good morning. It's my pleasure to be here to introduce you multi-floor swine product in China. I'm Yu Ping from Tianzhao Group. Okay, first I'm going to introduce you the current status of multi-floor swine production here in China. Okay, actually, the multi-floor pig farm started in 2013. Actually, it's in Fujian province. Somebody built this multi-floor pig farms. And then 2015, another company, Yangxiang, they built the big, actually it's 2 big buildings. Maybe you guys saw that in magazines. And 2018, I think everybody for the pig farmers knows the ASF outbreak in China. And then more and more companies were exploring the way of multi-floor swine productions. And because of this disease spread all over China, and the whole industry, you say have the disasters. So then the government started to support this multi-floor pig farms. And the Tianzhao breeding, actually, myself has been thinking about this multi-floor buildings since 2012. And then we built the first one in 2018. And we started operation in 2019. Okay, why we want to have this multi-floor swine production? Because like everybody knows, that China we have 1.4 billion people and 700 million pigs a year. I don't know how many millions. How many billions of chickens, how many billions of other animals. We got so many animals in a limited land. As a consequence, so we have the great pressure. We had been the great pressure for biosecurity and environment protections. So that is why we are thinking about the different way to build our pig farms. Up until now, if we are talking about the model, the model of the multi-floor swine production, so we have the single buildings and the double buildings, 3 buildings, 4 buildings, 6 buildings, and actually there is a biggest one in Henan. They got 22 buildings, and their capacity a year it's about 2.2 million pigs output a year. I think they just started the production last year. And in terms of how many floors, you guys maybe want to know, from 3, actually Tianzhao, we normally have the 6 to 8, but somebody else, they got 11, 15, even one building is 26, it's very high. And in terms of structures, and we have the steel structures, and also we have the reinforced concrete structures. This depends on the price of the steel. Just like now, because the steel price is very high, so I think we use the reinforced concrete. And in the past 2 years, steel price is low. So we use steel structures. And for this building, actually, especially my design, can be for sow, for nursery, for finishing, even for boards. It doesn't matter because every floor can be separated. And if I talk about the ventilation, so actually, I think in terms of the ventilation, this is, and for me, for my design, it's not different from my design version 4, because before the version 5, I tried many versions, version 2, version 3, version 4, many times, many years, and eventually, I think with version 4, I think I can use it for multiple floors. And 6, manure disposal. So I think it's a lot of people interested in this part. I think this multi-floor has very big advantages for the manure disposers, just like human beings, okay? And easy for the solid and easy for the liquid. And even it's very easy for disposal of the dead pigs. So, and for the feeding, because the building is about 30, like my building is about 30 meters, about 40 meters high. I think actually we have used the technology of the feed mill plant equipment. I think it's a mature, it's easy to manage. And the transportation, because we use the elevator, we use a stairway, and we use lift. And we also we use this passage, just like 10% degree slopes passage. We can transport the pigs, I mean here's pigs, from upper floor to down floor, or from the lower floor to upper floors. And up until now, according to somebody's statistics, and in China we got about more than 200 projects for the multi-floor production, multi-floor pig farms. Okay, now I'm going to introduce my design for the multi-floor swine pig farms. Okay, as you can see, here's the map of the China. So my design cover from the northeast to northwest and the southwest and almost whole China. It means it can use for every geologic area and also every climate. Like in the northeast, the Heilongjiang, in the winter it's minus 40 degrees. I think we can use over there. And even in the desert, like northwest, in the desert, it's very dry. And in the southwest, like my town, where I stay now, about 40 degrees centigrade in the summer. So now Tianzhou, the version 5, we got 28 buildings. We got 45 buildings for Tianzhou. And also now it's we service for some other companies build another 13 buildings, but we have almost 50 some buildings already. So it's up until now. So this is the building we build in China. And in terms of layout of model, so we got a single layout. Actually, this is my first multi-floor pig farms we built in 2018. Okay, this is a double buildings layout. And the left one is in Chongqing and my place now. And the right one is in the Fujian province. Now it's in the production. It's our joint ventures, the partners investment. And here is the 3 buildings layout. Actually, it's under construction. Is in northeast Heilongjiang. That's what I said. The minus 40 degrees centigrade. Sorry, I could not finish before the winter. So I think we are going to finish it in the next summer. Okay, here's the the building in Xinjiang, northwest. So actually, we finished all the structures, but we did not finish the equipment installations for this year by lots of very cold. And we can finish the next summer. And again, here is in Heilongjiang. This is a 6 buildings layout. Still, we are going to finish in next summer. And here is Gansu and Lanzhou, northwest. It's almost finished. So for 6 building, for each building, actually, I got 6 units of the nuclear herd. Each nuclear herd, including the bore, 180 bores, and also 3,600 sows, and plus the 100% nursery, and plus the gilts and the bores growers. So for this project, we have the capacity is 22,000 purebred sows. So now, up until now, we have more than 10,000 sows already. Hopefully, I can have the 20,000 sows, the gilts and the sows before the Chinese New Year's. So for this one, we can have more than 500,000 pigs, including the piglets, a year, next year. Here it's also some some buildings in Sichuan area. So next one is a concrete, and right one is steel structures. Yes, left one is a steel structures. Here is Huayuan. Oh yeah. That's in Chongqing. Okay, the left one is in Xinjiang. This is a concrete, and the right one steel structures. Okay, look at it here, how we are going to transport the feed. Okay, because of the ASF, so we have to have the many containers to keep this feed for more than 2 weeks. We are trying to manage this ASF. And here is the ventilation models. So maybe you can see some. Okay, here's a. Oh, sorry. I think I have to go back. So ventilation. Actually, it's a ton of ventilation, but the only difference is the air in and air out. Because from one end in, and we go out. We go out from the end too. Goes up to the tops. That's not easy to explain just on the pictures. Okay, here's how we are going to treat the odor. Okay, I think in terms of treat the odor, so for the multi-floor building, it's much easier and cheaper to treat it than this one-floor buildings, because it's easy to get this odor together. So for the treatment, I think it's easy. Just use water and the chemicals. Okay, again, how we're going to treat the manure? Because I think also this is a big advantage for the multi-floor to separate the liquid and the solid immediately after we have it. So because our floor, our building, we got slopes, about 0.5% of the slope from this end to another end. It means when the liquid, when the liquid come to the floor, it goes immediately because there is a slope in the building. It's easy to go, and only the solid left on the floors. And maybe one day, we use a scraper and to get the solid. So the solid is very dry. Urine, yeah, the urine and the water, the washing water, yeah. So it's easy to separate in the process immediately. So it means for the liquid, because the density is very low, so it's easy to treat it. And for the solid, because it's quite dry, it's easy to treat it. So in China, you know, we don't have so many land to absorb this liquid. So we have sometimes some place we have to treat it to up to the, you say, for the second usage like washing, and also we can use this treated water to treat the odor. So we can reuse it. And of course, the solid, it's easy. We can make it the fertilizer, and not much expenses. And for the, you say for the futures, for the multi-floor buildings, as I said to my friends, I have built so many one-floor pig farms for so many years, and I built this for this multi-floor building pig farms. And in the future, for Tianzhou, I'm not going to build one single floor pig farms. So because I think they got a lot of advantages. Okay, let me show you. Number one, to save the land. Definitely to save the land, to use national land. Okay, that's no doubt about it. But I think this is not most important. I think the most important is for the environment protection. Just like I said, for the dry manure, and it's easy to make a fertilizer, to use it, and to transport it, to use it. And for the dead pigs, and it's easy from upper floor to goes down to the bottom directly, to goes to the machine, to treat it the same day, maybe the same hours, and we can kill the bacteria. So it's easy to treat it. And for the wastewater, because we separate the liquid and the solid immediately, and the density is very low, it's easy to treat it, and it's cheaper to treat it. And for the odor, I think this is very, very important for the environment control, because when the in the winter, the windy days, so the odor can transfer for maybe several miles. So I think with a one floor building, because it goes to the everywhere, we got so many fans, it goes everywhere, it's very difficult to connect it. So it's easy. It's difficult to treat it. But for the multiple floor pig farms, it's easy to connect it together and cheaper to treat it. So I think it's a big advantages for the multi-floor pig farms. And for the biosecurities, I think, okay, actually I'm majoring in highway and bridge. I think the expressway is always better than the countryway, because they have the cars across bridges, and they cannot encounter together. So for the multiple floor, it's easy to transport the dead pigs, sick pigs, and it's easy, you say, to transport this modules. There are a lot go to you say to go together, and also because we can build as many as we need for the elevators, for the passage. It's not so expensive. So as definitely for biosecurity and multiple floor, it's much better than single floor. And here, like I said, the biosecurity challenge maybe it's a most challenging sense for the pig industries. Okay, I think all of you interested in the cost. What I can tell you, just for the buildings itself, I mean for the construction itself, it's not including the cable, the pipe, the equipment. I think it's about 20% cost higher. But if you are talking about all the pipe, the cable, equipment, and in terms of unit cost of per sow, per feeding pigs, per nursery, it's cheaper than single floors. Why? Because they have less, I think, extra equipment. They have less fence. They have less roads. They have less cable. They have less pipelines, everything. So in total, so I think the cost, it's especially to produce the pigs. Because if you, for this multiple floor, we have to follow the building standards, China building standard. It means this building can last for 50 years. This 50 years a lifetime design. But for the single floor, not so many people pay attention to that. Maybe only 10 years, 20 years. So afterwards, to produce one pigs, they cost maybe only 60% of that. I'm talking about the I think appreciation, right? Depreciation. Yeah. So the cost, I think, and also the operation cost. I think operation cost is mostly energy for the multiple floor, and also especially for my design, we have the heat exchange systems. When the hot temperature comes in, because 20 degrees centigrade air goes out, so they get heat exchange. In the winter, it's a minus 40 degrees, the air comes in, and the plus 20 degrees air goes out, and the heat exchange. At least we can have the 50% energy connection back for my design. So it saves a lot of energy. So another cost of the operation, I think, is manpower. Because the short distance of the transportation of the pigs, materials, and dead pigs, it saves the manpower too. So in general, so I think the cost it's much less than single floors. Of course, for this multi-floor swine pig farms, I think they got their weakness. I think, of course, for like the one floor buildings, even the farmer and the normal farmer, you can invest 1 million, 2 million for whatever size you can have. But for this building, for sure, you have to build a bigger one. So it means the total investment has to be big. Just like this building, for me, it's about 60 to 70 millions just for one building. About 32,000 square meters in total. So this just this one building. So plus this live animal, everything, it needs 120 million something. I mean, including the working capital. So it means the small farmer, medium-sized farmer, they cannot invest it. Another one is difficult choice between the different models, especially now in China, maybe all the world, because not so many people has experience about that. So a lot of debates, a lot of disputes, a lot of discussions. So now in China, a lot of it's very difficult to choose the different models. Somebody said theirs good. I'm going to say mine's good. So it's difficult for them to choose. So another is require professional planning and engineering support. Just like I said, because I majored in highway and bridge. You say in the school, so that is why I had this background. So I'm not afraid about it. And also the higher requirement in terms of the construction process and materials, for sure, because this is the big buildings. And also the requirements for the skilled labors, because the equipment we choose the best equipment in China at least, and to use. And also we use some AI technology and some other automation equipment. So in this building, so that is why it's more difficult. I don't think it's suitable for the small farmer, even medium-sized farmer. This is a big investment and very big inputs. Okay, so I think, like I said, I'm not going to build the single floor pig farms for the long run for Tianzhou, because I found so many advantages. And also, I think the Chinese swine industry will move forward, industrialization, automation, and the AI too. And to achieve the industrialization, automation, and AI, I think multiple floor production, I think it's more suitable. It's easy to install this kind of equipment, and so that is what I think. Anyway, so thank you so much. Thank you. That's all about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yu. We really appreciate that. Very interesting presentation. So we are now going to jump into the Q&A session. Okay, first question to you. What is the backup plan for if the elevators fail for moving pigs to the ground floors?
Okay, I think in terms of pigs, we have those three ways. One elevator for the health pigs, good pigs, and another way elevators for the sick pigs. Okay, and also we have the passage, like I said, we have the passage. The slope is about 10% slope for the health pigs, and also we have the channel for the dead pigs. And it means we can drop the dead pigs from any floor to the tunnel. It goes directly to the buttons, the machine on the buttons. We treat it. Is that okay?
Yes, no, thank you. So there's alternate pathways just in case there's a problem with the elevators. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Your next question here is, how do you move slurry from the upper levels of the barn to the lower levels? Is the design the same as like a human residential building?
Yeah, actually, we have the pipeline, okay, to go through from the top down to the down floors to the bottom floor, and for each floor we use a scrubber and to this pipe, then it goes down through the pipes to down the floor. Okay, just like the human beings use.
Perfect. Very interesting. I like the design there. So your next question here, the capital expenditure for a multi-floor building is higher. How much more is the capital expenditure for a 3-floor building compared to a 1-floor building? Is it going to be 3 times more? The ratio is higher?
So if we're going to talk about the cost of the building, I think it's better we use the unit of the square meters. Okay. So the square meters, per square meters just for the building, it's about 20% higher for the compared with single floors. Just like I said, this is just the building. If we are thinking about the pipelines, the cables, equipment, and everything, if we are talking about the per sow, per space for the finishing pigs, per space for the nursery space, it's cheaper than the single floors. It's no higher, lower.
Thank you, Mr. Yu.
Understand? Yeah?
Yes. So your next question here, so does the Tianzhou Group provide consultant services to design barns like these in other countries?
And frankly, I'm very busy in China now because we have got so many projects to manage. But anyway, I have already applied my patent in U.S., North America, and Europe, and Southeast Asia. I also get this patent certification from U.S. too. Just one of them. I got more than 100 patents already. And of course, in the future, I like to supply the service to our outside of China if I get a chance. Welcome.
Yeah, no, that's very exciting. We're very happy for you. That's awesome.
Yes, thank you.
The next question up is, are there government grants in China that are especially for people who choose to build these multi-floor buildings?
Okay, I don't think this is related to this financial support to Chinese government. No, I think for the Chinese government, they support this. It's no difference with a single floor. But before, I think 2 years ago, the government is not allowed us to build the multi-floor building more than 3 floors. We are not allowed to build the buildings higher than 10 meters. So now it's end of lighting, and because our effort and I think our push and with our colleagues and the government agree us, and now they're supporting us. They agree us to build the higher buildings. I mean, nothing to do with the financial support.
Right. So that kind of leads to this next question here is, so with building these kind of higher, large-scale units, what is the acceptance of public opinion for these large-scale units? So just wondering from the outside perspective of consumers or others in the industry, what is their opinion of these large-scale units? What kind of feedback are you getting?
Okay, I think from the government, I think they like it because we use this land to produce more pigs, definitely, and also because this is big investment. With the investors, they got money, they can have better environment protection. They have the better biosecurities because they can invest the money. They have the better team, better management. It means that the local government like it, and our labor like it, and the consumer, I think has nothing to do with the consumer because they only know the porks. So I don't think they're concerned about that, and I don't know whether or not I respond to your questions 100%. I mean, fully respond to your question.
No, I mean, it sounds like you're getting very positive opinions, especially, in terms of the government and industry. And so your next question here, do you prefer to have sow, nursery, and fatteners all in one building on different floors, or is it better to have separate buildings for sows, nurseries, and fatteners?
I think this depends on how you can manage the biosecurity. So if you can manage the biosecurity, so I think it's better to have everything in one building. Okay, and if you're not so sure, you better have one building for sow. I think for my design, one building can be for the 6,000 sows plus the boars. So another 2 building is from the nursery to finishing. So one plus 2. So that is why I got the layouts of the 3 buildings layout. So for the 3 buildings, we can produce 150,000 pigs a year.
Yes, very impressive. So your next question here, what is the approximate time from project starting to being built to being ready to actually house pigs?
Okay, I think it's in south, like in my place, because there's the winter is just some degrees. I think about 1 year. I think in the northeast, always 2 years because we get long winters.
So that's still a very good timeline, only 2 years.
Only 2 years. I think that's so long. Sometimes I'm so frustrated.
Yeah, yeah. Your next question here is, how do you prevent disease spread through the elevators? What are your disinfection methods for the elevators?
Okay, because actually the Tianzhou, we use this 4 weeks breeding, 28 days. So it means we use the elevators just in a short period of time. One batch, one time, and easy to manage it. And after we use it, we clean it, we sanitize it, and keep it dry for a couple of days, and then for next use.
With your next question, they are asking, how long does it take for a normal farm worker from a single floor farm to qualify to work for a multi-floor operation?
Okay, it depends on what they're doing. Okay, you say for the normal works, just like breeding, for the single one, multiple ones, the same. And farrowing, it's the same. Nursery is the same. Finishing, I'm talking about this to manage these facilities, to manage equipment. We need the better works. We need the more skilled works to manage the building. For the production, the same.
Okay, so production's same, but it's just a little bit more skill level needed for the building itself.
Yeah, building and equipment itself.
Okay. Do you normally have a training program that you put in place and to teach new employees to get more familiar?
That's for sure. And nothing to do with the buildings.
Yeah, perfect. And then, so here's your next question. It goes with, what is the minimum sow farm size that would justify a multi-floor farm?
Minimum, I think maybe 1,000 sow farms minimum. And if for 1,000 sow farm, you better have the finishing, nursery and finishing in the same buildings.
Okay. Your next question here, what is the water demand per sow per year in a multi-floor comparing to a regular system?
Okay, I think it's for the consumption itself, it's the same. Because it's sow, it's full. This depends on how wet they are, and it's summer or winter. For itself, the same. But for the multi-floor building, it's easy to know where it's leak. So we can because it's leak, you know it. But as you say, for the single one, you never know where is the leak.
True.
So actually, after you manage this leak, we have the less pressure for the manure treatment, and we save the water, we save the energy.
That's great.
And also, it is reduce the pressure for the manure treatment, because with this multiple floors building, we have about 3 million cubic meters air per hour, like in summer. It takes a lot of moisture out. Eventually, we don't have so much liquid left in our manure tank, especially in summer. Maybe only 2/3 of the liquid left.
That's very interesting. I didn't realize that. So it can definitely affect the moisture also. That's your next question here is there any animal welfare certification for this kind of production?
What I can tell you, we use loose sow equipment system we imported from Canada. So actually now I'm following standard of European standards to build this building.
Next question is, how much is there square meters per finishing pig, and the same for nursery pigs? So essentially space.
Okay, for the nursery, that's 0.35 square meters for nursery, and about 0.8 square meters for the finishing. And its average is about 4 square meters for the sow.
And this question is kind of going back again to the more the employee side of managing. What is the sow to people staff ratio in this type of farm?
Okay, for you say for Tianzhou, actually per employee, I think it's our standard is 250,000 per employees.
Per employees.
Yeah.
So they're
And the
quite
finishing,
busy.
it's about 4,000.
4,000. Okay.
Yeah.
What is the degree of automation in multi-floor versus single floor? Do you believe that there is less labor that's needed?
Yeah. You say for the whole building, like 6,000 south, we only have about 25 people in that building.
Wow.
Including everything, including the kitchen.
The kitchen, you said as well?
Yeah, I mean, for people, you say, so somebody cook the food for the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So total 25 people. So that's for 6,000.
Yeah.
I think you already addressed this next question, but if you don't mind just repeating it real quick. Essentially the square meters of floor space for a fattening pig in this type of barn. Essentially, what is the floor space available per fattening pig in this type of barn?
Which pig?
Finishing pig, like a fattener.
A finishing pig is 0.8 square meters.
0.8. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Your next question here is going more towards the direction of African swine fever. So if African swine fever outbreak occurred in a multi-floor farm like you've designed here, how can you eliminate, cull, or depopulate your pigs? Are all the floors eliminated, or all floors of the building also eliminated?
No, it's not necessary, because now we have the very quick, check. We got a very good laboratory, very strong laboratory. We can check from time to time. It's easy to pick up those pigs have diseases. So I think 2/3 of the farm we succeed to pick up those disease pigs, and we succeed. Sometimes we lost about 10%, 20% of pigs, and it's over.
So do you feel like
if
you're
we got
able?
it.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're able to more segregate and kind of consolidate or isolate some of these outbreaks faster?
Yeah. I think the most important thing, like I said, the transportation of the sick pigs or dead pigs. If each floor, if like I said, it's a flat, so everybody come up and down. You say go and back. So they're easy to mix up, to make a mess. But for the multiple floor, for each floor, they can go goes up and down directly.
So you have better control. Yeah.
Yeah, better management of the contaminations.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Your next question here, and it kind of goes to this again, monitoring pigs. What kind of monitoring are you doing on the pigs in the barn? Do you use automated monitoring or algorithms being used to monitor the feeding and the drinking?
I think to measure the drinks, I say it's easy, and it's very basics. And then there is a feed. And now actually we started to use this camera to move on the roofs and try to find. Try to recognize which one is good, which one is not good. And also we use this camera to count the pigs and to evaluate the weight too.
That's great.
Not for our building. Now we just started.
Kind of going back to the ASF question, how often are you screening your pigs for ASF? Do you do random testing around the farm every day on sick or dead pigs?
I think every time we found, if there's some dead pigs or sick pigs, we check it immediately. So we are so nervous about it. We check it. So after we found it, and of course, anything ordinary, I think it's we can separate and check it, and then we pick it up.
So that's a daily task. Yep.
And not daily.
Not daily.
I don't think we can do it daily. I mean, if we think something wrong, and we start to check, and we start to separate and check it.
Mr. Yu, your next question here is, you told us that 2B 40 degree air goes in and about 2B 20 degree air comes out. How do you cool the air?
Okay, simple. Because actually our floor is a double floor. For each floor is a double floor. And one floor also pigs for people. Underneath, there's a floor for module tunnel and for air tunnels. Between this module tunnel and air in tunnel is only stainless steel plates. It's easy. I don't use any equipment for heat exchange. I just use the structures to get this heat to energy back. So because the temperature inside of the room normally is about 20 degrees centigrade, is that right? From 18 to 25, even summer or winters. And the air from outside is might be minus 40 or 40 degrees centigrade in summer. Because they are all, you say, encounter just they are separated by the stainless steel. And with the 2 minutes travel.
You've got, yes. I think, two other questions here. The first one is, you mentioned that you put the dead pigs down a chute. It means that you will euthanize them on the same floor, then put them down into a chute that goes directly into the biodigester. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we don't use this lateral biodigester. We use just like the boiler. So it goes down to the machine, and we smash it, and the 120 degree for 2 hours, and we use some kind of, I don't know what is that called in English. There's a material, and then the some woods, the carbon, and a holder there, and in some hours it comes out, becomes a fertilizer.
Okay.
And kill the bacteria or the disease immediately. Nice. So this is very good measurement for the biosecurity.
Absolutely, absolutely. And here's the next question that actually, I think it is our last question, but it is going back to that biosecurity question. Do you have any rodent control systems in these types of farms?
Actually, we closed all the passage for the air, inlet air, or the doors, and also because the very limited of the doors. I don't think we have the much problem with that, because on the floor, only the first floor we have the passage or doors, right? So easy to manage this mouse and the insects.
Oh, good. So you have a little bit more control over that by being able to kind of shut down each floor.
Yeah. Well, we don't have windows anyway.
Yeah.
For the whole floor, all the window is fixed. We don't have window.
Very nice. Thank you for that. Mr. Yu, thank you so much for presenting to us today the U model. It is a very fascinating, design. There's a lot of us here that this is very new for us, and getting to learn more from your perspective and how you've designed this. And you've really considered all aspects, like you said, from biosecurity to production to efficiency. So again, we really appreciate you sharing that today with our audience and our team. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. And very pleased to introduce my design. I hope I can work with you guys in the future.